You have already lived all lives, you just haven't awakened yet. You think you are one, unique and irreplaceable. You have your own story, your own dreams, your own fears. But what if I tell you that you have already died hundreds of times? That your worst enemy is you in another life? That every person you see on the street, in the subway, in the store, is also you? Sounds crazy? Perhaps, but let's imagine for a moment that this is true, that there exists only one consciousness in the entire universe, and it lives through every life, every story, every moment of joy and pain, through billions of different forms. And all these forms are you. This idea is not new. It lies at the foundation of the most ancient philosophical teachings and finds surprising parallels in modern science. But let's start with a simple story that will change your perception of yourself and the world forever. Imagine you died. Your life ended in a car accident, and here you stand before a being that seems both familiar and eternal. Who are you, you ask? I am the one who created this universe specifically for you, the being replies. For me and all the other people? They are all you, every person you have ever met, everyone who has caused you pain or brought you joy. All of these are different incarnations of yourself. This is the essence of Andy Weir's story, The Egg. According to this story, the entire universe is a giant incubator for one developing mind, your mind. Every life is a lesson. Every experience is a step toward greater understanding. You were Napoleon and the soldier who fell from his cannons. You were the mother and the child she lost. You are the beggar on the street and the millionaire in the ivory tower. All simultaneously, all sequentially, all so that you would eventually understand. The boundaries between I and they do not exist. But this is not just a beautiful fantasy. This idea permeates the deepest philosophical traditions of humanity. In ancient Vedanta, the philosophical foundation of Hinduism, there is the concept of Atman, your true self, which is inseparable from Brahman, universal consciousness. When sages said, Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that, they pointed to a fundamental truth. Your individuality is an illusion, Maya, that hides your true nature as part of a unified whole. Buddhist philosophy approaches this from another side, but arrives at a similar conclusion. Buddha taught about anatta, the absence of a permanent, unchanging self. What we consider ourselves to be is simply a stream of changing forms, thoughts, emotions. There is no fixed essence that could be called I. There is only process, continuous becoming, in which the boundaries between observer and observed dissolve. These ancient insights receive unexpected support in modern psychology. Carl Jung wrote that in our relationships with others, we constantly encounter projections. We see in other people what we cannot accept or recognize in ourselves. When someone's greed irritates you, perhaps you are encountering your own hidden greed. When you admire someone's courage, you see the potential for courage in yourself. It turns out that in every interaction with another person, you are actually interacting with different aspects of yourself. Your partner reflects your ability to love and accept. Your enemy shows your fears and rejected parts. A random passerby on the street may carry within them a quality that your soul is trying to integrate. And here we approach the most modern hypotheses about the nature of consciousness. What if the brain is not the creator of thoughts, but their receiver? What if it works like a radio, tuning into certain frequencies of universal consciousness? Some scientists suggest that consciousness may be a fundamental property of the universe, like electricity or gravity, and the brain merely focuses it in a certain way. If this is so, then the difference between you and me becomes a question of tuning, not essence. We are different radio stations broadcasting the same cosmic program, but each with its own peculiarities of reception and transmission. And now, let's add here the understanding of time from modern physics. Einstein showed that time is relative. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in four-dimensional space-time. If time is an illusion, then rebirths can occur not only after death, but also before birth. You might live a life in the 21st century, then be reborn in the Middle Ages, then in the distant future. Linearity is a limitation of our perception, not a law of reality. Imagine a book where each page is a life. We think we read it sequentially, but the author sees the entire book at once. Every character on every page is a manifestation of one creative consciousness, telling itself different stories about itself. But if all this is true, if every person is indeed you in another form, then this radically changes everything. Every act of cruelty you have ever committed, you have experienced yourself. Every humiliation you have caused, you have lived through yourself. But every act of kindness, every comfort, every moment of love, all of this has also returned to you, because it was always you, the school bully who tormented you. That's you learning to understand the pain of rejection. The teacher who believed in you when everyone doubted. That's also you, discovering the power of faith. The mother who rocked you in her arms through sleepless nights. That's you, opening to the depth of unconditional love. This doesn't mean you should be passive or that it doesn't matter how you act. On the contrary, it means that every action of yours has infinite significance because you are acting in relation to yourself. When you help someone in need, you help yourself. When you ignore someone's pain, you ignore your own. In this perspective, life ceases to be a competition where you need to defeat others to be happy. It becomes a process of recognizing yourself through an infinite multitude of mirrors. Every encounter is an opportunity to see yet another aspect of your soul. Every conflict is a chance to integrate a rejected part of yourself. Every moment of love is a return home to your true nature. Perhaps this is exactly why mystics of all traditions speak of the need to dissolve the ego, to go beyond the illusion of separateness. Not because individuality is bad, but because it is incomplete. It's as if a wave on the ocean decided that it exists separately from water. The wave is beautiful, unique, has its own form and movement, but it was never something separate from the ocean. You are a wave of consciousness in the ocean of being. You have your own form, your own rhythm, your own beauty. But you are never separated from that from which you arose, and all other waves are your brothers and sisters, different expressions of the same depth. Some spiritual teachers say that enlightenment is the moment when you suddenly realize, oh, it was always me. Not in an egotistical sense, but in a cosmic sense. You understand that you were searching for yourself in other people, in achievements, in relationships, not knowing that what you were seeking and the one who was seeking are one and the same. And then compassion becomes not a moral duty, but a natural reaction. Just as your right hand automatically helps your left when it hurts, so you begin to automatically respond to others' pain because you understand. It's your pain. Love ceases to be a need to get something from another and becomes the joy of recognizing yourself in another. But this understanding cannot simply be accepted intellectually. It must grow through thousands of lives, millions of encounters, infinite cycles of learning. Perhaps this is exactly why you live through all these lives, from the simplest organisms to complex civilizations, from primitive states of consciousness to the highest forms of awareness. Each life adds a thread to the tapestry of your understanding. Life as a stone teaches patience. Life as a plant, growth toward light. Life as an animal, instincts and survival. Life as a human, creativity, love, the search for meaning. And perhaps there are also forms of consciousness we cannot yet imagine. Life as a star, galaxy, universe. And all this time, you are growing up. Your consciousness expands, deepens, becomes more complex, and simultaneously simpler. You learn to see unity in diversity, eternity in temporality, love in apparent hostility. Perhaps the most difficult lessons come through relationships with those who seem your complete opposite. Tyrant and victim, saint and sinner, sage and fool. All of them teach you different aspects of human experience. Through the tyrant, you learn the horror of absolute power. Through the victim, the strength of vulnerability. Through the saint, the heights of spirit. Through the sinner, the depths of fall. And when you have lived through all of this, when you have experienced every emotion, every pain, every joy, every fear, and every hope, then you will be ready to awaken. Not as a separate being who has achieved enlightenment, but as consciousness itself, which has finally fully known itself through the play of multiplicity. At this moment, all lives will merge into one memory. All experiences will become one experience. All faces will manifest as facets of one diamond. You will understand that you were never alone, because there was no one to be alone with. You were always everything. And then, perhaps, you will look at this infinite play of consciousness and smile, because you will understand the simplest and most complex truth. There is only one consciousness, one mind, one love, manifesting itself through an infinite multitude of forms. And all these forms are you. You are the child crying in the cradle and the mother who comforts him. You are the old man dying alone and the doctor who holds his hand. You are the artist creating beauty and the viewer whom it moves to tears. You are the one who asks questions and the one who answers them. And when you fully realize this, perhaps a new game will begin, or you will simply dissolve in the bliss of unity, or become the seed of a new universe. Who knows? What matters is that the path home lies through complete acceptance of all that you are, all your faces, all your lives, all your choices. So the next time you meet a stranger on the street, remember, perhaps you are looking in a mirror when someone causes you pain. No, this is you teaching yourself forgiveness. When someone shows you kindness, rejoice. This is you giving yourself love. You have already lived all lives. You just haven't fully awakened yet. But awakening is near, and when it comes, you will understand that you always knew this truth. It was written in every beat of your heart, in every breath, in every moment of recognizing yourself in another's eyes. One mind, many faces. One goal, to remember who you really are, and you are everything.